Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Physics for AP. Today we are going to discuss about the bond formation, that is how does a compound forms, that is the types of bonds and the chemical bonding that we are going to discuss. And as we discussed it before about the octet rule, first before going to the chemical bonding we need to discuss about what is meant by octet rule. So as I told you that we get a cation and we get an anion by the removal of electrons, right? So by the removal of electrons or by adding of electrons we get anion or cation. So when the electrons are being removed, then we call it as a cation, which is a positive symbol, and when the electrons are added, then we call it as the negative, that is anion. Like for example, if we take sodium atomic number is 11. So we write the electron configuration as 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s1. That is, in the first orbit we have 2 electrons. Next, in the second orbit, that is L shell, we have 8 electrons, and in the last third M shell we have only 1 electron. Now according to octet rule, that is, the octet rule is made for the elements, that is, which is to be combined with another one. Like for example, if we take sodium outermost electron is having 1. That means octet is, to get 8 electrons we need to add or we need to remove the electrons over here. So if we add 7 electrons to this, so we get 8 electrons, but instead of adding 7 electrons, removing 1 electron is easier when compared to adding the 7 electrons. So when we remove this electron, now we get 2 and 8, that is, we got the outermost orbit as 8 electrons. So by removing 1 electron we get a cation, and by adding an electron we get an anion. So that we're going to see about what is meant by octet rule now. So octet rule is that the atoms of elements tend to undergo chemical changes. So they go to the chemical changes, that is like removing of electrons or adding of electrons. There is some type of chemical changes, so that help to leave their atoms with 8 outer shell electrons, like as we have seen for sodium, or like if you take for magnesium. So magnesium atomic number is 12. So when we write the electronic configuration, we write as 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2. So first shell we have 2 electrons, the second shell we have 8 electrons, and the third shell we have 2 electrons. Now to get octet rule, that there should be a chemical change. That chemical change can be done by removing of electrons or by adding of electrons. So when we remove these 2 electrons, so we get 2, 8. That is, we get 1s2, 2s2, 2p6 as 3s2. This has been removed out. So now the magnesium we get as Mg plus 2, which we call it as a cation, the magnesium ion, which is called cation. So at the same time, like for if we take for oxygen atomic number 8, so 1s2, 2s2, 2p4. So as if you see the electronic configuration, so first orbit we have 2 electrons, in the second orbit we have 4 plus 2, 6 electrons. Now to get octet, oct means 8 electrons, the outermost orbit should consist of 8 electrons. Here we have 6 electrons. Now here to get 8 electrons, 2 electrons should be added. Now when we add the 2 electrons over here, then it becomes as O minus 2. O minus 2, that is, we get the octet configuration as 2, 8, that is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6. Now we get the outermost orbit as 8 electrons when we add 2 electrons for the oxygen atom. Now we got it as O minus 2, and this is called as anion, and this is called as cation. And here we got a chemical change, that is, there is a chemical change by removing of electron or by adding of electron, there is some chemical change and the outermost orbit has been converted into 8 electron shell, like 8 outermost electron shell. We got has outermost electrons as 8 over here. Now this is what we call as octet rule. Now what about for neon? Let us take for example for neon. Neon atomic number is 10. Now we have 1s2, 2s2, 2p6. This is the electronic configuration for neon. As if you take the first shell, K shell, we have 2 electrons. The second shell, that is L, we have 8 electrons. Now already there is 8 electrons in its outermost orbit. So we cannot remove or we cannot add, as there is 8 electrons in its outermost orbit. So there is no change in the neon atom. That is why neon cannot form positive and as well as it cannot form negative, and the neon is called as noble gas. Why? Because it doesn't get combined with any one of the atoms. So that is why we cannot convert this neon into a cation or anion. Why? Because already its outermost orbit is consisting of 8 electrons. Okay, clear? Now when we see for this cations and anions, as there is no outermost as there is no 8 electrons in its outermost orbit, so we add electron or we remove the electron. So by this we get outermost orbit as 8 and then we get the bond formation over here. So this is what we call as the octet rule. So octet rule is the atom of elements tend to undergo the chemical changes that help to leave their atoms with 8 outer shell electrons. So this is what we call as octet. And we have another rule which is called as duplet. So duplet is nothing but 2 electrons, that is outermost orbit which consists of 2. So this duplet is existing for only for the helium. So a duplet is existing for helium. The remaining as the noble gases like neon, argon, krypton, xenon, radon, all these have the 8 electrons in its outermost orbit. Now coming to our chapter, that is what we call as the chemical bond. So chemical bond is nothing but the force of attraction between 2 atoms or a group of atoms to become stable. Like if we take 2 atoms or a group of atoms, when we combine together, we get a compound or we get a molecule. So that is nothing but we call it as, now the force of attraction between those 2 atoms is said to be called as the chemical bonding. So the force of attraction between 2 atoms or a group of atoms to become a stable. Like if we take like NaNCl, when we combine we get NaCl, or if we take oxygen and another oxygen, when we combine these two we get O2 as a molecule, O plus O, that is O2 molecule we get. So these type all are nothing but we call as the chemical bonding. So in this we have 3 different types of chemical bonding. That the first one is the ionic bond, and the second one is called the covalent bond, and the third one is called as the polar covalent bond. So what is by ionic bond? So ionic bond was introduced by Coasel. So ionic bond was completely explained by Coasel, and the covalent bond was explained by G.N. Lewis. As Coasel and Lewis has done their explanation, that their experimentation in 2 different countries and 2 different places. So 2 different places. So ionic bond and covalent bond was done with a separate experimental procedures, but as ionic bond and covalent bond was done at the same century, so the 2 were combined to combine a chapter what we call as the chemical bonding. Now what is ionic bond and what is covalent bond and what is polar covalent bond? So polar covalent bond is that what we call the properties of ionic and covalent, that is whatever the properties we have for the ionic and whatever we have the properties for covalent, both gets combined here and we get the polar covalent bond. This will be explained in the end of the chapter. And coming to the ionic bond and covalent bond, so we are going to discuss more deeply about what is ionic and what is covalent over here. So ionic bond is nothing but the bond formation with the transfer of electrons. So transfer of electrons. So that is a bond, the force of attraction or the chemical bonding by which the transfer of electrons occurs, which we call as an ionic bond. So transfer of electrons, so that is when an electron is removed or when an electron is added, then that type of bond which we call as the ionic bond. So as in the name itself we have called ionic. that is we get ions over here, that is the cation and anion. So by getting cation and anion is done by the transfer of electrons. Now the bond formed between them is said to be called as ionic bond. Like one small example, let's take it. So ionic bond is also called as electrostatic bond. So it is also called as the electrostatic bond, as there is a force of attraction between the positive and negative, which we learn in the physics part, that is the electrostatic force between the force between the positive charges and the negative charges. The same also we call it as the electrostatic bond, or you can call as the ionic bond also. Now for example, if we take for sodium we have 11 electrons. So when we write the electronic configuration, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s1. Now when we see its outermost orbit, we have one electron. Now according to octet rule, so one electron is been removed out. Now when one electron is been removed, then we get it as Na plus 1 plus one electron is been removed out over here. As one electron is been removed out, so we get it as Na plus 1. Now that based upon the octet rule. Now when we take another example like for chlorine, having an atomic number as 17, so when we write the electronic configuration, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p5. So as this is the electronic configuration, so when we see the first shell, the second shell and the third shell. The first shell we have 2 electrons over here, the third shell we have 8 electrons over here, and the second 8, and the third we have 7 electrons over here. Now to get octet rule, so one electron is less, so that one electron is being added over here. Now who is removing this and who is adding over this, that we are going to see in further classes about it. How do we get the ionic bond, how do we how the electrons are being removed, who are them adding them, that we are going to see in the next further classes. And when we see about the covalent bond, so when we covalent bond, we call it as the sharing of electrons. So that is nothing but the bond formed by the sharing of electrons. So as if we see in ionic bond, here we call it as the transfer of electrons. But covalent is nothing but which is called the coordination. So valent is nothing but the valency electrons. So there is a coordination between the valency electrons, which we call as the sharing of electrons. So sharing of electrons is like an example. If we take for fluorine is being combined with another fluorine atom to get F2 bond. So this is one of the example. And oxygen is being combined with another oxygen atom to get oxygen, and hydrogen is combined with another hydrogen to form H2 molecule, and N is combined with another N to form as N2. And like from some other examples, like beryllium is combined with the 2 chlorine atoms and we get BeCl2. So these are some of the examples where we are not removing the electrons, but there is a transfer of electrons from one atom to another atom. And when we get the transfer of electrons, or the sharing of electrons over here, when we get the sharing of electrons, here also we get the octet rule. That is, the octet rule should not be violated. That is, its outermost orbit should be consist of 8 electrons. So when we transfer the electrons or when we share the electrons, they should be having that 8 electrons in its outermost orbit to get a bond formation. So clear. Now this is just a brief introduction about ionic bond and the covalent bonds. So as here we see the chlorine, as we have not completed the chlorine, so when we add one electron, it becomes Cl minus. Now if you observe here, Na plus and Cl minus, that is, we get Na plus, which is a positive ion, and Cl minus, which is a negative ion. So positive and negative gets attract, what we call it as the electrostatic bond. So we get as NaCl. So this is the compound for the one of the example for the electrostatic bond. Now ionic bond is for the metals and non-metals. Like the ionic bond formation is done between only the metals and the non-metals only. Metals and non-metals. But when we see for the covalent bond is done for non-metals only, that is for non-metal to non-metal, like fluorine is a gas and fluorine here also is a gas. So these two are non-metals. Now the bond formed between them is the covalent bond. So as these are the non-metals, so here also beryllium. So beryllium is a metal, but chlorine as the gases, when they combine here we get BaCl2, which is not the transfer of electrons but the covalent bond, which is the sharing of electrons. Now we are going to discuss more about the ionic bond and the covalent bond in the further classes. And coming to the polar covalent is nothing but the properties which are consisting of the ionic bond and the covalent bond, that both ionic and covalent both should be exist in the polar covalent bond. Now before going to the deep discussion about the covalent bond, so first we need to discuss about the Lewis dot structure. So first we need to discuss about the Lewis dot structure, then it will be easier for us to discuss. Like if we see about the Lewis dot structure, Lewis dot structure. So Lewis dot structure, simply just we need to keep the dots. Like for example, like if we take any of the element like helium, like if we take for helium, atomic number is 2. So when we write the electronic configuration, we write it as 1s2. As well as for neon, atomic number as 10. And when you write the electronic configuration, we write it as 1s2, 2s2, 2p6. And when we write for argon, so atomic number as 18, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6. So this is the electronic configuration for argon, as well as helium, neon, argon, xenon, radon. So for all the noble gases, as if you see the outermost orbit here, this is 1s, we have 2 electrons here, so we write it as 2. And this is the outermost orbit, first orbit, and this is the second orbit. 6 plus 2, we have 8 electrons over here. And this is the first orbit, this is the second orbit, and this is the third orbit, where we have 6 plus 2, 8 electrons in the outermost orbit. Now how to draw the Lewis dot structure here is, as we have 2 electrons in its outermost orbit, just what you have to do is you have to write helium, the symbol, and present as 2 dots over here, or 2 intos over here. So that is the Lewis dot structure for the helium. As well as for neon, when you take for neon, as we have 8 electrons in its outermost orbit, so you need to represent 8 dots around itself. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now this is the Lewis dot structure for neon. At the same time for argon, as the argon symbol is Ar, and it has 8 electrons in its outermost orbit. So 8 electrons should be represented here in the dot form, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So this is the dot structure for the argon. Now another example, like we take for sodium, we have Na11. Outermost orbit we have only 1 electron. So the dot structure for sodium can be written as Na, only just 1 dot can be represented over here. At the same time for chlorine, as we have written for chlorine, like 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p5. The first orbit we have 2 electrons, the second orbit we have 8 electrons, and the third orbit we have 7 electrons. Now how many dots should be placed around the chlorine? That is based upon the outermost electrons. So here we have the outermost electrons, that is the valence electrons, as 7. Now what you have to do is you have to represent the Cl symbol, as the valence electrons are 7, you have to represent 7 dots over here. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So this is the dot structure for chlorine. So you can do this for any of the elements, like with the help of their atomic number and electronic configuration, you can represent the dot structures over here. Now for example, if we take for calcium, so let us take for the calcium. So calcium we have electronic configuration as 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, and last we have 4s. So 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 4s2. Yes, 20 electrons has been fitted. So if we see, this is the first shell which has 2 electrons, and this is the third shell which has 6 plus 2, 8 electrons, and the third shell 6 plus 2 which has 8 electrons, and the outermost orbit, that is the fourth shell which has 2 electrons. Now can you tell me how many electrons should be placed around calcium? Yes, 2. Why? Because outermost valency shell electrons we having 2 over here, so calcium should be placed as Ca1 and 2. At the same time, can you tell me the electronic configuration for zinc? Like we have to represent the Lewis-Dot structure for zinc over here. Now let us see the electronic configuration. So come on along with me. So 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2 and 3d10. Good. So this is the electronic configuration for zinc. As first orbit we have 2 electrons, second orbit we have 8 electrons, third orbit, and let us see, the fourth orbit we have 2 electrons. Now coming to the third orbit over here. So third orbit we cannot say that we have 6 plus 2, 8 electrons here, we cannot write it. Why? Because 1 represents for the shells, like we call it the periods. Here 2s 2p, that is the second period, 3s 3p, third period, 4s which is the fourth period or the fourth shell, and again we got the 3d here. So 3d cannot be represented, that means as if you see the outermost one which is called the 3d10, as we have 10 electrons, the 10 we cannot be placed around the zinc, like representing Zn and here putting 10 dots around them. That's not necessary, that's the wrong one. So how can you represent this? When you write the electronic configuration, see the outermost orbit. So outermost orbit is nothing but the last shell. The last shell that you need to see. This is the first shell, this is the second shell, this is the third shell, this is the fourth shell, and this is the third shell. So that means this is not the outermost orbit. This should become under the third shell. Then now how many electrons are present in the third shell? 6 plus 2, 8, 8 plus 10, 18. That means in this third shell we have 18 electrons in its outermost orbit. Now coming to the fourth shell, we have 2 electrons. Now can you tell me which is the outermost shell over here? Yes, 2. So 2 electrons are present. Now how many dots we have to represent around the zinc symbol? Yes, 2. That is 1 and 2. So this is the Lewis-Dot structure for zinc. At the same time, like if you see the dot structure, like the atomic structure over here, the first shell we have 2 electrons over here, 1, 2, and the second shell we have 8 electrons here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and the third shell, and this is the fourth shell. As up to here we have filled. Now coming to here, forgot about this 18. Now here we have 6 plus 2, that is 8 electrons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Next coming to the fourth shell, 2 electrons. Now 2 electrons will be here, 1 and 2, and now 3d means third shell, that is another 10 electrons have been added. Another 10 electrons are added in the third shell, that is the third one which is the M shell. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Now if you count the total third shell, you'll be having 18 electrons. That's it. No more electrons can be fit in the third orbit, as we have discussed in the principal quantum number, that is the formula 2n square. Once revise the chapter of the structure of atom, there you will be seeing how many electrons will be placed in the surrounding shells, like K shell, L shell, M shell, how many electrons are being fitted, that you will be seeing the previous chapter that we have done, that is the structure of atom. Now if you see the outermost orbit, which is the fourth shell, we have 2 electrons, so 2 electrons have been placed for the zinc. Now another example, like if we take for oxygen, atomic number 8. So electronic configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p4. Now can you tell me how many electrons are there in the outermost orbit? Yes, good. So in first shell we have 2, and in second shell we have 4 plus 2, that is 6 electrons. Now how many dots we have to represent around the oxygen? Yes, 6 electrons, and And remember one thing, that while representing the dots, don't go in a hurry burry, like putting all the dots together. Come in a particular manner, in a particular format, so that it will be easier for you for the further learning procedures. Like, so here see, first one, 1 2 3 4, next coming to again 5 and 6. So this is how you need to represent the dot structure for oxygen. So not only this, for any element you can represent the dot structure. And remember one thing, maximum dot structures will be 8. It will not be more than 8. Maximum it is 8. More than 8, if we see more than 8, like this 10, then once revise the electronic configuration, see particularly where you are presenting the outermost shell, see it carefully and draw it again. So for drawing the Lewis dot structure, you need to remember the atomic number, you need to remember the electronic configuration, and you have to see the outermost shell, how many electrons are present, and then you have to represent them in a dots form in a particular manner. That means first we have to place it 1 2 3 4, then again filling it 5 6 7 8. Is it clear? So this is about the Lewis dot structure. So this is the basics that we need to learn before going into the ionic bond and the covalent bond. So today what we have discussed is, we have discussed about the octet rule. So what is meant by octet rule, that we have discussed over here, and we have discussed about the chemical bonding definition, and we have discussed about what is ionic bond and what is covalent bond and what is polar covalent. So ionic bond is nothing but the transfer of electrons, the bond formed by the transfer of electrons, and covalent bond is nothing but the sharing of electrons, the bond formed by the sharing of electrons. And ionic bond is formed between the metals and non-metals only. Here covalent bond is formed with the metals and non-metals, as well as non-metals and non-metals. It's clear? And then we have discussed about the Lewis dot structure. So how to draw the Lewis dot structure, that we have discussed here clearly over here. So right now, thank you for your time. Any doubts regarding over here, please give a comment, click the like button, click the subscribe, and wait for the more interesting videos about physics and chemistry. Thank you for your time.